Hi there, this is a 15-minute full body deep stretch that you can do at home. The only prop you need is a pillow from your bedroom, and if you have a yoga mat, great. If not, you can also do this on the carpet or on a rug. So let's get started. Take the pillow and fold it in half here and place it underneath your seat. You want to kind of sit on the edge of it here. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of your knees and ankles. Find a comfortable seat, eyes either open or closed. Take a deep inhale in through the nose to the count of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Open up the eyes and move the pillow out to the side. We'll meet in child's pose. So in child's, you have your knees wide, feet together, and you walk your fingertips forward as much as they'll go. Allow the forehead to drop down towards the mat. And allow the hips to sink down towards the knees. Walk the fingertips forward 1 more inch. And then on your next inhale, walk the fingertips to the right, feeling a stretch down your side body. Inhaling, walk your fingertips through center and now over towards the left. Inhale, walk through center again. We'll rise up into a table. So in table here, you want to have the shoulders directly over top of the wrist and the hip directly over top of the knee. Ideally, you have your knees about hip distance apart, and to test that, you place both hands in a fist here and put them between your knees. If it fits in there, just kind of like snugly, it doesn't have to be super tight, then that's approximately hip distance apart. So that's a good rule of thumb. So coming into table, we'll cycle through cat-cow. Inhaling as we drop down into cow, gaze comes up towards the spot where the wall and the ceiling meet. Exhaling as we rise into cat, head drops, neck releases, really push into the ground with both hands. Spine is rounded. Inhaling as we come into cow again, cycling through at the pace of your own breath. So as you inhale, come into cat, and as you exhale, rise. As you inhale, come into cow, and as you exhale, rise up into cat. Returning back to table here, we'll windshield wiper the ankles left and right. And then finding stillness, we'll spin the hands all the way around so that the fingertips face the back of the room, gently rocking forward and back. Inhaling, returning to table, the right arm will rise all the way up towards the ceiling as we come into a supported side plank. Send those hips forward and imagine your body is between 2 panes of glass or 2 very narrow walls. Exhale, reaching for the front of the room, bicep comes towards your ear. Point the toe of the foot, of the leg that's straightened. Inhale, rise back up to supported side plank. You're really pushing into the mat with the bottom arm and reaching towards the ceiling with the top arm. Now spin that top arm so that your palm is facing the back of the room, bending the arm at the elbow, placing the back of the hand on the back, or the top of the hand on the back. Opening up the chest, gently engaging the core and sending the hips forward. Inhale, rise all the way back up. We'll come back through table. And then that same arm that was in the air sends under your body for thread the needle. The top arm in thread the needle can have a bent elbow right near your face, or you can walk those fingertips forward towards the top of your mat. Plant the hands, inhale and rise. We'll find supported side plank now on the opposite side, on the left side. Inhaling, opening up all the way. Balancing the weight in the knee and in that palm. Pointing the toe of the straight leg. Hip points over top of one another. You're in the same plane, so your hips and your bent knee are all in the same plane. Exhale, reaching that bicep towards your ear and reach. Inhaling all the way up. Rotate that top arm, bending at the elbow so that the back of the hand touches the back. Spinning that chest open. Sending those hips forward. Inhale, rise and release back through table. That same arm that was just on top spins up in the air and we send it under for thread the needle now on the opposite side. And plant the hand, inhale and rise. We'll walk forward on the mat, straightening out the hips as we come into a cobra. Roll those shoulders back and send the chest forward. Untuck the toes. And unclench, if you're clenching your butt cheeks, unclench them. It helps. Shoulders come away from the ears. Really push into the mat here. And allow the legs to relax completely on the mat. We'll push back now, coming down into a seated tree. So the right leg is out straight, the left leg is bent. You can take your pillow here and place it underneath your ankle, kind of relieve some of the weight. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Rotate that upper body towards that straight leg. This is very important. And then hinge at the hip, reaching for your toe. Once you reach that point where you feel a really big stretch in the back of the leg, allow yourself to round, bringing the arms down. It's not so much here about finding your toes as it is getting that rotation and keeping this leg engaged. So you definitely want the toes up towards the ceiling, and especially if you're using the pillow here because you need to protect the knee. So if your toes are up towards the ceiling, your foot is flexed, which really allows you to engage the quad right away. We want the quad engaged to protect the knee. And reach forward. You're gonna reach for the outside of this foot, so reach towards the pinky toe. And you'll feel a stretch in your back, on this part of your back, and then you feel a stretch up the back of your leg. Allow the neck to release. Inhale and rise. We'll put all of our weight now on our left hip and on our left forearm. Top leg bends, reaching for the ankle. We'll find a quad stretch. So you want your top leg here to be coming straight out from your hip. If your leg is all the way up here, it's going to inhibit the stretch. Same if it's all the way down here. So everybody's different with their mobility. You might only get here, and that's okay, but you really just want to work towards getting that knee in the same plane as your hip in the same line, and then pulling, because you're going to get the maximum stretch. So just as we did before when we were in cobra and we pushed into the mat, we want to do the same thing with our forearm here to protect the shoulder. Without flinging, gently release this side, and we'll find seated tree now on the opposite side. So bring that pillow around. Engage this bottom leg, lifting the toe, engaging the quad. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Rotate towards the toes, hinge at the hips, and once you feel that stretch, roll yourself down. Reaching now for the pinky toes. Doesn't matter how far you get, just make sure you have that rotation and you have that bottom leg engaged. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And we'll find a quad stretch now on the opposite side. So placing your weight in your right hip and really pushing into the ground with your elbow. Reaching for that back foot, that back ankle, and then working on getting your leg in the same plane as your hips to maximize the stretch. You can also send your hips forward. You don't really want to be like dumping down like this. You won't like kind of get into the stretch. So you want to push forward. And it's not about how good you look in these poses. It's just about working towards achieving proper alignment. It's not about the look at all. Like, you kind of strive for a good look because you want good alignment, because you don't want to get injured. That's the most important thing. All right, we'll gently release this side, coming all the way down to our mats. Both legs up in the air. And we will cross our right leg in front of our left for a figure 4. Interlacing the fingers behind the hamstring of the lifted leg, pulling forward for a figure 4 stretch. And here you can alternate pointing and flexing that top foot. Gently release both legs, planting your feet on the ground, bending your knees. You want to kind of bring your legs as close in as they'll go naturally. So I plant the toes first and then allow the heels to fall. Plant your hands. We're going to find a reclined twist. So come all the way up in the air, rotate over towards the right, and then allow the knees to fall. Arms come out at your side in a T or bent at the elbows for post arms. And we'll come back up through center. Figure 4 now on the opposite side. So left leg crosses in front of right. And release the fingers behind the hamstring. And we'll straighten both legs, bending them down, bending the feet on the ground. Hips come up in the air, rotate now towards the left, plant the hip down and allow the knees to follow. Find a reclined twist now on the opposite side, arms either out in a T or bent in goalpost. This is Annabelle. She is our 1-year-old puppy, and she's very lovey-dovey. From this pose, we'll come back through center, placing both feet on the ground about hip distance apart again. So remember that trick, place your hands in 2 fists together and put them between your knees. If they generally fit, then you are about hip distance apart. Put the hands on the ground. Inhale and rise. As you push into your feet, hips rise. Interlace the fingers behind the back. As we rise up into a bridge, there's no pressure in your neck here. The weight is all in your shoulders and the back of your head. Oh, Annabelle. Gently release the fingers, come all the way down. And now we will grab our pillow, fold it hamburger style, and place it so that's in about the middle part of our back. Feet come together, legs come together in a diamond with the bottoms of the feet touching. Roll yourself onto your pillow, arms back into that goalpost position, or you can put one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Annabelle, sit. Good girl. Down. Good girl. Another alternative here is to bring your arms over your head so that they're reaching towards the front of the room. And we'll slowly find our way back up through seated. Take that pillow just as it is and sit on it again, just like we did in the beginning. And find yourself in a comfortable seat. We'll place one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Eyes either open or closed. If they're open, just find a spot on the ground about 6 feet in front of you and focus your gaze there. We'll take a deep inhale in. Filling the lungs, allowing the chest to expand, allowing the ribs to expand. Exhaling fully, really squeezing all the air out. Allowing the shoulders to drop down. Inhale, take a great deep breath, feeling yourself expand and rise like your top of your head could touch the ceiling. Exhale fully. Last time, deep inhale in. And exhale. Bring your hands to prayer. Open up your eyes. Namaste.